Wow, so there has been a lot of surprise and shock and skepticism, all of which is understandable in relationship to the Khafre project and the claimed findings on the Giza Plateau and the Khafre Pyramid regarding these substructural engineering components that go deep into the ground and potentially across the Giza Plateau in general. Like I said, a lot of skepticism. And I was very excited when these claims first came out. That video has since gone extremely viral, even featuring on Joe Rogan.
Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the goddamn internet. So today we're gonna be taking another look at the Pyramid of Giza situation, right? The four cylindrical objects that go so deep underground, 2 kilometers I've heard of. And this guy you just saw was the first person to cover this, one of the first persons. Okay, so we're gonna be checking out the angles of this, checking out what else has come out about the situation. It has absolutely blown up. Nobody knew it would get this big. Everybody's talking about it, mainstream news, fucking Joe Rogan. Guys, this is absolutely blowing up, and we were really early on this one. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I rushed out a video, changed what was scheduled for that day, and I got that other one out. So guys, we're just going to be covering this. We're going to be checking it out. Updates all the time, daily uploads, subscribe, notifications on, like, comment, share. This helps the absolute most. And without further ado, get your snacks, get your popcorn, guys, because today is going to be an absolute banger. This is interesting shit, and I don't think anyone can argue with that, okay?
Dun dun dun. I love the music. And geometry, so you know it's real.
You got to appreciate the dramatic intro.
Project Unity.
Oh my god, it's geometry. You gotta, so it's real. Guys, this is this a shot at Terrence Howard, right? You know, the guy that came on claiming to know all of physics, to have cracked this thing wide open. Terrence Howard is a famous person that has gone into a very deep philosophical pool of geometry, and he was on Joe Rogan to debate a scientist, and it went horribly wrong. Make sure you check that out. But just an interesting fact, like he said that, and I immediately thought of that.
What has just been announced in relation to the pyramids at the Giza Plateau and the plateau itself is so incredible, so awe-inspiring and narrative shattering that I have been sitting here for the last hour trying to wrap my head around the implications of what we were just told. So this is pretty much breaking news because the new findings were announced on the 16th of March at a press conference held by the team who was studying the Great Pyramid of Giza with a non-invasive technology that was first developed by Filippo Bionde and Corrado Malanga, called Synthetic Aperture Radar Doppler tomography.
Fuck, that's a
This
mouthful.
was used to explore the internal
Chiropractor
structure
talk.
of
Okay, so I absolutely think that non-invasive is a major keyword we need to be aware of in this, to where the government most probably do not want to damage any of this because it's such an important part of history that I think most people want to preserve to an extent, especially for their tourism sake. I think that it was one of their interests, and yeah, they don't want to fuck with things too much, right? It'll lose all its value. But this non-invasive technology that we can work with now, where we're coming to AI, you know, there was so much things published recently that people use AI to sift through too much information, to find the key details, to find what matters, and AI is proving really useful in that regard, especially Grok. Yeah, we're gonna be checking all this out. There's so much more to come. This non-invasive technology, guys, we're finally here. We're getting to the point where we can make these discoveries with all these tech around us.
the Great Pyramid of Giza. And this method leverages the analysis of micro movements typically generated by background seismic activity to achieve a high resolution full 3D tomographic imagery of the pyramid's interior and subsurface components. The recent findings from deploying this technology are nothing short of mind-blowing, because what's been discovered is that there are huge structures coming down from the base of the pyramid deep into the bedrock, in fact over 600 meters deep, which then connects to structures that extend up to 2 kilometers below the surface of the ground. 2 kilometers. Massive internal structures connected to the base of the pyramid and extending deep, deep down. This is what we know so far.
Why does it look like strings on top of boxes? Like, is the pyramid about to bounce into the air? I know it's fucking silly, but Jesus Christ. It's just really odd. Is there no entryway into the lower parts of the pyramids? There should be. Maybe it's not public. I know there's been so many conspiracy theories about the pyramids having so much more to offer, but it's blocked off. I know the government... Oh, my bad. They have been hiding this shit for way too long. Sealing things up, like above the statue outside the pyramids. What the fuck? The Sphinx. On top of it, there's a sealed off entrance, and there's just so many things that are really mysterious that the public would love to know. And that can be turned into really profitable tourism destinations, even more so because of this, if it's viewable. And I wonder if this is what Ross is talking about all the time, where it's this UFO that's too big to move, so they built over it. You know, is that this? Like, no fucking idea. And Ross won't budge on giving us more details, but we will keep an eye for that.
And I'm also going to highlight some of the critiques that have been going on and why they may not hold up to scrutiny in the face of the kind of technology that's being deployed here. So there's been a lot of critiques, and I mean a lot of critiques, including coming from the mainstream media and the mainstream academic sector, about direct EM penetration and ground penetrating radar, how there is no ground penetrating radar that can go 2 kilometers into the rock. And that's absolutely right. But that's not what's being claimed by the team. The team is not claiming the SAR technology, which stands for Synthetic Aperture Radar. They're not claiming that SAR is penetrating 2 kilometers of rock. Instead, their method proposes that SAR technology is detecting secondary surface deformations caused by deep mechanical resonance, not direct EM wave reflections, right? So they're picking up on resonances coming from underground structures and measuring that acoustic resonance, that reverberation. It's not penetrating deep into the ground. It's penetrating quite shallow into the ground, which is typical for these systems, picks up on acoustic and reverberatory energy and uses that to model what could be underneath the ground, causing these reverberations. SAR technology already measures surface deformations within millimeter scale precision, using interferometric techniques, also known as INSAR. That's how we monitor earthquake zones and volcanic inflation. If there were deep voids beneath the Giza Plateau, which are resonating, the surface could experience these subtle periodic displacements, like detectable energy that would be picked up through the SAR technology. Through the phase-sensitive Doppler processing. So SAR doesn't actually need to penetrate the rock directly, it just needs to detect surface effects caused by subsurface resonance, right? So anything that's below ground, that's a large structure, especially, and we're going to get into the reasons why the Giza Plateau might be one of the most interesting places in the entire world to find this type of anomalies and structures. So when they're picking up on these reverberations, it's being caused by structures below ground that are transmitting this reverberatory energy up to the surface. The satellite scans the surface, not the depth, and picks up on the reverberation, which it's able to model. It's able to figure out through very, complex computational algorithms, the model of what exactly is reverberating under the ground.
Okay, so this individual has made public that he is gonna be talking more about this really soon. So we're gonna be covering it. Subscribe notifications. That's a good reason.
The Giza Plateau specifically is geophysically unique. Limestone and granite are known for their acoustic and piezoelectric properties. Limestone and granite make up the majority of the Giza Plateau. Now, granite contains high quartz content, which responds to mechanical stress by generating electric fields, which is also known as piezoelectric effects. Piezoelectric, naturally induced, naturally created electricity. Resonant voids underground within the Giza Plateau could actually stimulate mechanical stress in these piezoelectric geoenergetic rocks, these piezoelectric materials, limestone and granite. which would create these surface-coupled oscillations through the piezoelectric effect. Now, the pyramid's precise geometry could actually enhance wave reflection and standing wave formation, essentially acting as a mechanical amplifier for deep resonance. Are you still following me? In other words, Giza's geology and construction actually create the ideal conditions for deep mechanical resonance to couple into surface level oscillations, which can then be picked up by the SAR technology. So this is actually really interesting because low frequency seismic waves and standing resonant waves would survive potentially for kilometers underneath the ground, depending on the geological structure. So if there are deep voids that are in some way geometrically tuned to natural frequencies like Helmholtz resonators, they could sustain coherent resonant oscillations that transfer energy up to the surface. So the surface response could then be detectable as a consistent micro-Doppler shift in the SAR technology. Mechanical resonance propagating through dense rock via piezoelectric coupling bypasses a lot of the issues that a lot of the critiques are trying to come up with in regards to attenuation and scattering, which are problems faced by direct EM waves, but not with the Doppler technology being deployed through the SAR surface level scanning. This is all very, very interesting, and I won't pretend to be a technical wizard on a lot of this. I've been doing research, trying to understand the SAR technology, and I'm listening to the experts that are talking about this in relationship to the way in which this is being deployed on the Giza Plateau. It's very unique. It doesn't seem to be what a lot of the critics are assuming it to be, which is just a basic use of ground-penetrating radar and the assumption from the team that GPR can somehow go 2 kilometers underneath the earth and scan buildings with incredible accuracy. That's not the claim that's being made by the team. It's the subsurface acoustic resonance that's being picked up from these deep structures that is then coming up to the surface and being scanned by the SAR system. Okay, I hope you guys are all.
So it's really weird to also consider that the whole population of the Egyptian culture, you know, that built the pyramids supposedly, anyway, moved in there, you know, all these people just vanished and disappeared. I am really curious to what happened. Did they reach some sort of ancient technology that is really risky to have? They destroyed themselves? Did that area become, you know, radioactive? Is that why nothing grows there? Is that maybe stuff used to grow there? And you know, there's just so many things to consider. It's really the most interesting culture and people that existed, that I think existed ever, that we know of. Because their languages, you know, these sigils, I don't even know how they even started off conceptualizing building a pyramid of that size and the size of stones that had to be moved. And a lot of people explain it through rolling the pieces of concrete on tree logs. I mean, how far would you need to do that? It's not even, it's such a weird concept to imagine.